9 lessons from Stoicism to stay calm from myself, William Mulligan, author of The Everyday Stoic, Simple Rules for a Good Life. These are 9 lessons I've actually used in my life to go from timid and uncertain to calm and confident. And you might be saying that I can't do these lessons. Not me. I'm not the type of person that can learn. I'm not the type of person that can become calm. I'm not the type of person that can get over my anxieties and my weakness and my uncertainty. Well, let me tell you, I was also that same person when I was younger. For many years, I was that guy and I struggled with everything. But I found Stoicism. I found these 9 lessons and I implemented them into my life and used them every single day. And I became calm and confident down to these 9 lessons. So welcome back to The Everyday Stoic with myself, William Mulligan, author of The Everyday Stoic, Simple Rules for a Good Life. Today's episode is powered by Huel. Huel is a quick, affordable, nutritiously complete food with everything that your body needs. Today, I'll be going over 9 lessons from Stoicism to stay calm. I'll be doing this lesson by lesson, explaining what they mean and maybe how I incorporated them into my life. So lesson 1 is decatastrophizing. If you read the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, which is the emperor's personal diary, you would have no understanding of the kind of struggles he faced. You wouldn't understand the death that surrounded him, the war that surrounded him, the Antonine Plague that killed so many, the Marcomannic Wars that killed so many of his loved ones. He lost 9 of his own children. You'll never know about all these things because his writing is so simple and unaffected. He does not catastrophize through his writings. So it seems like a mundane diary. And that is the power of decatastrophization. What happens is, someone will fall over and cut their knee. And if they are prone to catastrophizing, which many people are, and I'll explain more examples of catastrophizing, you will fall over, get a little scrape on your knee, and you'll look at that, you'll see a bit of blood, and suddenly you've sliced your knee open, it's gushing with blood, and it's awful, it's horrible, oh no, what can I do? These are the kind of thoughts that go through someone's head when they get a little scrape on their knee. I remember when I was a cleaner, I was cleaning up a caravan site and I sliced open my leg and I just felt a little pinch. I didn't really feel anything. And I went over to someone I worked with and I said, I think I've really hurt my leg. I feel like there's a lot of blood. And he looked at it and he said, it's not too bad, but maybe you should get it checked at the hospital. Anyway, I arrived at the hospital and realized I needed loads of stitches and it was really bad. There was blood everywhere and it gone right through my leg. But the thing is, the guy I was working with, he did not catastrophize it. He decatastrophized it by saying it doesn't look too bad, but maybe you should get it checked out. Maybe you should get it cleaned, because he said, whatever you cut your leg with might be dirty. But I believe at that point in my life, if he said, oh my man, this is awful, you've sliced your leg right open, I can see your tissue, I don't know the exact technical terms for these things, but you could see like the fat tissue and the skin, you could see it all, it was ripped right open. If he said this, I probably would have started panicking and got shaky and nervous. But he decatastrophized it. He didn't act up, he didn't play up, he just described what happened. You've cut your leg, could be dirty, you should go get it checked. That is all. And people do this in life, in a situation where someone was rude to them. Someone cuts them up in traffic and says something rude, and they get this image in their head of this rude person, and they play it up in their head, and they start catastrophizing it. Each time they remember it, this person gets more distorted, more contorted, more aggressive, more vulgar, more mean. And in the retellings of this story in their head and to people they know, this becomes a catastrophe. It becomes an encounter with such an awful, vulgar character. And this is the same with people you may know, people you work with. We describe them as horrible and vicious and toxic, when really they're just a person that maybe made a few mistakes or said a few wrong things. But the thing is, there's a lot of power in words and the way we imagine things and the stories that we add to things. Marcus Aurelius said this: "Today I escaped from anxiety," or no, I discarded it because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not outside. So this is the idea that things happen and we create the story of what actually happened. We create this new story. We dress it up in our heads and create this monster. We create a mountain out of a molehill. Epictetus said, "Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems." Because worry is needed. It's a necessary tool in our arsenal to help us through life. But we only need worry when it is needed. You worry 1,000 times when you only need to worry 2. So this catastrophizing comes with thinking about a situation and exaggerating it in our heads, creating more and more worry about this thing. We create a monster from the shadows because we don't have a full picture maybe, so we dress it up the way our anxieties see it. So the solution to this is decatastrophizing. So we break things down into their simplest form. So if for me, with cutting my leg, you say, you've cut your leg, you should just get it checked. It keeps you calm, because in a situation like injury, the best thing you can do is stay calm and follow the correct procedures to get help. But I've seen people panic, really panic, and it's no longer just their cut leg is the problem. It's actually their anxieties and their panic. They start having a panic attack and they can't breathe. And now they're in a real bad situation. So decatastrophize things. When this person that you don't get along with at work is rude to you, don't call them awful names in your head. Don't say how awful they are. Just say, I don't get along with that person too well. But, they have faults, I have faults. That's it. Because we just create this situation so much worse through words, through our description of things. And we should sort of just seek the truth of a situation, because in seeing the truth, we see what actually happens rather than this false narrative that we create. The second exercise is to reflect on character. Marcus Aurelius said, "How much time he gains who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does or thinks, but only at what he does himself, to make it just and holy." Reflect on your character. This is something that has helped me so much in life, and it's helped me to stay calm in life during difficulty, during turmoil. The way it works is, if I'm presented with a difficult challenge, something disturbing, or an opposition, someone is trying to insult me, someone is trying to provoke me, reflect on your character. I reflect on my character. I think of the person I am, the person I want to be, and I reflect on this very strongly. I think, is reacting to this person in aggression the right thing for me to do? Is reacting to this person cutting me off in traffic with aggression and swearing at them and getting stressed, does that reflect who I want to be? Because it can take 20 years to build up a reputation, but only a moment to destroy it. And this is the same with your character. You can do something, you can do a big mistake that completely destroys your character, and it can destroy your self-worth and your respect for yourself because you've done something you didn't want to do. So I reflect on my character when difficulties come along, when opposition comes along. I just think, what is the person who I want to be? What would they do? What is being good? And this can be used together with the Stoic virtues of courage, temperance, wisdom, and justice. I like to mix these up into my character. So when I reflect on my character, I reflect on virtue, because I want these things to be in line. So I think, is this wise of me? Is this courageous of me? Is this just? Is this temperance? And this can always just be a guide for you at any time. and you can reflect on these things when difficulties come your way. Remember who you are, who you want to be, the good you want to be, the good that you are. This small little thing that's going on in your life right now, this tiny blip in your life, this speck in your life, do not destroy your character over it. Your character is so valuable because it's not just your outward portrayal to the world. It's not just the way people perceive your character, the respect you garner from people. This isn't so important as the character within yourself, the person you are with yourself. If you make mistakes, this can have an impact on your own self-talk. You want to become a person that you respect so that you do things that you respect. And in this way, you go on in the world to become someone that you want to be. You become a good person, a respectable person, a person that you're happy with. And this creates calmness of character. It creates calmness and balance in life. So the third exercise is pause. The Austrian physicist and Holocaust survivor, Viktor Frankl, he was also the founder of logotherapy, said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies growth and our freedom. I talk about this as the Stoics understand it as the three A's: the awareness, the assessment, and the action. And this pause that Viktor Frankl was talking about is the assessment stage of the three A's, the second A. So when something happens, someone at work is rude to you, or no, there's two people at work arguing and you hear your name in the argument. This is the awareness. You see what is happening. You see visually and you hear that two people making noise and your name is involved. That's the awareness. Then there is the assessment. In this assessment, normally what people do is they want a reason to get involved. They want a reason to fulfill their egoic needs, what their ego craves, this revenge. They've heard their name be thrown in the dirt. They want revenge. So the assessment is, normally, these two people are being rude about me. They're attacking me. They're attacking my character. They're pushing me down. They're putting dirt on my name. They're disrespecting me. I need to get involved. And then the action that follows is you get involved, you argue, you get in a big fight, you've ruined your relations with them, suddenly you're angry for a very long time and you're very bitter, and this can fuel so much more arguments in the future. So that's the three A's: awareness, assessment, action. Well, in this assessment, you can take a pause and see what is true and see what is best for you to do. The pause is so powerful. And I know it seems like child's play. It's something we got taught at school. You know, the naughty kid, he would get that teaching assistant would come in and say, don't worry, Benny. I know you're angry. Just count to 10, take a pause. 10, 9, 8, 10, all the way down to 0. Just take a pause. Deep breaths, Benny. And this actually is a powerful tool because our ego and our instinct just wants to quickly bite back. We hear something, we hear our name be called, and we want to fight. It's very quick, very instinctive, and we get good at it. The more we do it, the better we get at it. The faster response time we have for these things to respond in anger and bitterness and conflict. So you just take this pause. You hear this thing, and your mind goes, right, I want to get involved. And you just literally take a pause, force the pause. And in that force, normally after like 10 seconds, you'll go, not bothered. Or it might give a little bit more space to create some internal dialogue where you go, maybe I should get involved. Then you go, no, I don't think it's good for me because this is just a complete waste of time. Yeah, but they said my name. Well, who cares what they're talking about? I don't really know these people. I'm not really bothered what they're saying. Okay, let's not get involved. That's the action. Let's not get involved. That pause is powerful. And just remember that. That's a tool for your arsenal. The fourth lesson is be present. As Seneca said, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied. For For he that is wants nothing. The greatest blessing of mankind are within us and within our reach. A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not. The only thing we have is this present, and our lives get shaken up, our balance gets shaken up, and the calmness gets destroyed when we start to live in the past and in the future. Because living in the past creates feelings of regret, feelings of sadness, remorse, mistakes. And living in the future creates anxieties and worries, fears. All of these things, that's a lot going on. The future and the past is actually infinite in our minds. There's an infinite timeline of things that can happen in the past and things that could happen in the future. These things are infinite, and our imagination makes monsters out of these things. So imagine if all this worry, all this instability, all this uncertainty, all this fear, all this regret, all this anxiety, imagine if it just went. How calm would things be? I know the answer because this happened to me. I remember I was living my life in the past and in the future. The present didn't even exist. I lived all the way out there into things that could happen, all the way out there into things that did happen. And this just made me so uncertain, so anxious, so worried, and so fearful. But then I understood, following these Stoic principles, that all we have is this present moment. This present moment. I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about you listening to me. That's all we have. The Stoics understood this, and they talk about it a lot, especially Seneca in The Shortness of Life. He talks about this all the time. This moment right here is all we have. And when we understand this, we become so calm. All these things you thought you had to do, all these things you thought were going on, all these conflicts and worries, they're non-existent. Because if you look around you right now, which I'm doing, looking around me, all those things that were swirling around in your head are not present. And this takes practice. It really does. I didn't just hear this one day and suddenly it's all gone. It took a lot of practice because you get good at what you do. It's Epictetus, the Greek-born crippled slave, the Stoic, the famous Stoic, the author of the Enchiridion. He said, if to get better at walking, we walk. To get better at talking, we talk. To get better at acting on bad impulses, we act on bad impulses. And this is the same for worry. The more you live in the future and the present, the better you get at it. Your synapses start fusing at getting good at living in the future and the present. But as neuroscience has taught us recently, recent discoveries, is we can rewire these synapses. You can rewire them, and it takes effort because what this does, once they're fused, you've created this path. You know, it's like the wagon in the dirt. The wagon in the dirt goes over the same path every single day. And every day, the wheels dig out trenches for it to go down. And suddenly, this becomes a nice path that it can smoothly shoot through. But what if the wagon's going in the wrong direction one day? What if the rider realizes, we don't want to go down there, we want to go down there? Well, it's going to be hard work getting out of these tracks. But every day, as you steer out, suddenly you create new tracks, and you've cemented new tracks into the path. And this happens with your brain. So the more you be present, the more you carve that path out for you. And suddenly, being present is the only thing you can do. The fifth lesson from the Stoics to stay calm is gratitude. Seneca, again, says, it's ruinous for the soul to be anxious about the future and miserable in advance of misery, engulfed by anxiety that the things it desires might remain its own until the very end. For such a soul will never be at rest. By longing for things to come, it will lose the ability to enjoy present things. Seneca. Gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful tool to stay calm. Now, it sounds a bit strange that gratitude can help us be calm. But gratitude isn't just about appreciating life and having this powerful zest for life, which is the most amazing thing. When you really practice gratitude, you get this amazing ability to just feel the good in everything. Not just see the good. Anyone can see the good, but you actually feel the good in the present moment. Gratitude is also about tipping the scales from the opposite of gratitude. You're always seeing the bad in things. You're always seeing the fear in things, the danger. You're always seeing the negative. When you start to practice gratitude that's tipped right down there on the scale, eventually it tips right up here. And suddenly gratitude is the default setting. And all this negative, all this bad, all this worry, all this uncertainty that was destroying your calm, this goes because gratitude takes over. And it's the same what I was saying about carving that path out. When you start to carve the path of gratitude, you suddenly erase that old path you was going down, where you're going down that uncertain path, where every question is met with an excuse. And now every question is met with an answer. And I think this is what people get good at, is looking for excuses, creating excuses. So whenever life offers them an opportunity, like I say, self-pity is the death of answers. Self-pity is the death of solution, because you're given a question, you're given an opportunity, life hands you this thing, hands you a gift, and because you're looking for the bad, you're pitying yourself, you throw it away. You say that this is a Trojan horse, this is danger, when really it's just a gift from life. So gratitude. A quick word for today's sponsor, Huel. Huel is a quick, affordable, nutritiously complete food with everything that your body needs. I remember when I was writing my book, The Everyday Stoic, Simple Rules for a Good Life, I was powered by Huel. Their daily greens every morning, their meals every day. And Huel just, it satisfies my needs. It satisfies my cravings. It stops me from going to the shop, buying unhealthy things, spending unnecessary money. And that's something, recently I've had this impulse to go to the shop and buy unhealthy snacks, not sure why, and unhealthy drinks. And I just quickly grab a Huel and it just stops me from doing that things. And I know that I'm getting everything my body needs. I get the health benefits and I satisfy my cravings. So if you have any interest in Huel products, click the link in the description. So the next lesson from the Stoics is Amor fati. I did an episode on this 2 days ago. Amor fati is a Latin word that roughly translates to the love of one's fate. And Friedrich Nietzsche, the German philosopher, he said that amor fati is the formula to human greatness. Amor fati, the love of one's fate. This is so powerful. And I won't go into it too much because I've already explained this. And I do have a free course on this that you can see in the description. You can click it. It's a free course. You can read it in about 5 minutes. So I won't go too much detail. Amor fati, the love of one's fate. No matter what life hands at you. The Stoics didn't say, resent this thing that life's handed you. The Stoics didn't say accept this thing that life's handed you. The Stoics didn't even say like this thing that life's handed you. The Stoics say love it. Love your fate. Whatever has been handed to you, love it. Because whatever's been handed to you cannot be unhanded. Life has happened. The past cannot be changed. God, the universe, the creator, you've been handed this thing. And if you love it, if you see it as a gift, then you take this thing, you love it, and you make the most of it. This is what sets heroes apart from victims. A victim will be handed anything in life, good or bad, and they'll see it as bad. They'll see it as an attack to them and a reason to them to go lower and lower, like a boot on their back. But the heroes see everything, good and bad. They see it as a step to climb up, to go higher and higher, because challenges give you strength. Uncertainty gives you wisdom. Villains give you courage. There's always the other side to the coin. And if you can start to see this, you will become so calm in life. And I do this myself when anything bad happens and I lose something or I've been challenged with something, someone's done something wrong to me, I've made a mistake. I just see it as, what am I going to get from this? If I don't just pity myself and give up, what can I get from this? How can my character grow from this? Because it's all about character. It's all about the thing you control, your character. You don't control all these other external forces. You have no control over them. So what you do, you take these uncontrollables, these externals that are thrown at you. Life's throwing bricks at you, nails at you, throwing saws at you, hammers at you, throwing cement at you. You get where I'm going, throwing sand at you. And eventually, instead of being knocked down by these things, having them lay beside your feet, getting in the way for your whole life as emotional baggage and emotional damage, these things become tools for you. And, don't know why I clicked, you can build your life from these tools. You can build yourself a beautiful life from all these things that have been thrown at you. And that's the difference between heroes and victims, is the victim sees these as damages that have been thrown at them. They're a victim to life. Life is punishing them by throwing rocks at them. And the hero is catching these rocks, catching the sand, catching the cement, catching all these tools. And they're going, thanks for this. Let's build something. And there's a difference. And, you might be listening now and going, well, I don't care. I'm a victim. I'm not a hero. I'm not this great guy that can do that. Everyone can be that hero. Because if you knew the person I was a very long time ago, you would have heard me saying that. That was the voice going on in my head 24/7 saying, I'm a loser, I'm a victim. But I got there over time. It's small steps every day lead to great distance. And that is the truth. Small steps every day. So just take a small step every day. Take a small step today. Something, I'll leave you a message at the end of the video, something you can follow today to ensure that you will take a step. The next lesson from the Stoics to stay calm is memento mori. Memento mori, another Latin phrase, translates to, roughly, remember death. Remember you are mortal. Steve Jobs said that all fear, all worry, all fear of embarrassment and failure, all of them wash away in the face of death. And it's true. I can't tell you the amount of times I've been involved in something scary, involved in something embarrassing, involved in some form of conflict where someone has threatened me or said something to me. And I've just thought to myself, man, I haven't got long to live. Like, I could die tomorrow. What is this all about? Is this guy for real? Like, come on, man. I'm mortal. I ain't got time to be wasting thinking about this sort of things. Like, I could be dead soon. Like, what if today's the last day on earth? Am I going to just waste it arguing with this random guy at Lidl? Because this is actually what helps me a lot. When people try to start arguments in the shops or on the streets, or people threaten you or say things to you, sometimes I just say, man, if this was my last day on earth, why would I be wasting it on this person, this misguided person? And honestly, it just makes me so calm. I keep clicking today. It makes me so calm. So just remember that. And the next exercise you can do right now, and you can do it with me, is to remember and to think right now that this could be our last day here on earth. This moment could be our last. I could be talking to you now, turn off the camera and die. But anyway, I'm not trying to scare you. This exercise is never about scaring or creating rumination within your mind or anxieties and worries. If it does, then maybe don't try this exercise because maybe there's other problems within you that are causing this internal conflict. But right now, this could be our last day on earth. So I want to be here, be present, appreciate just talking to the camera. What is my aim? I want to teach whoever's listening. I want to teach you about these things that can help your life, can save your life. So with my last moment on earth, I'm going to do this to the best of my ability. Rather than just being idle-minded somewhere else, thinking about other things, with my head down, going through life like a zombie, I'm going to be here right now, feeling how visceral and powerful this life is, how fulfilling it is. Just this present moment is so much. There's so much to take in. Did you do it? Hopefully you did. Probably like 2% of people did that. But if you didn't do it and you want to be part of that 2%, then whilst you're listening to me, just think about it. The next exercise, the next lesson to stay calm is empathy. This sounds strange, but I'll give you a good example. And it's something I practice. This is actually the one thing that gave me confidence, because I used to walk home and I was in a rough area, I would always have my head down. I was always scared of what people would say. I was always scared of conflict. I wasn't really bothered about getting beat up or getting robbed. I was scared about the conflict that came before, where they call you names. That was always awkward, and it happened a lot. I was always scared of that conflict. But then I started having empathy, like extreme empathy. And I started thinking about these people, thinking, like, these bad people, like, no one, this is strange, and I wouldn't take it to this extreme, but this is what worked for me. No one gives them any smiles. No one gives them any respect. No one ever says hi to them because they look intimidating. They look like a bad person. Like, I don't want to look at them myself. I'm keeping my head down. And I thought, they never get anything. So I started walking always with my head up, looking in their eyes, smiling, nodding, and eventually saying things, morning, that kind of thing. Just the British pleasantries. And I realized these people were nicer to me. And the thing is, most of the people weren't out there to attack me. It was like 0.01%. But even the people that were out to attack me, they probably thought, damn, this guy's confident. He's not really intimidated by me. Let's not go there. But the point is, this empathy is so powerful. And I'll give you another example at my local shop. I used to go in, and there was a security guard, really big guy, and he used to always look at me, really intimidating. And he used to always follow me, and I used to always be like, this guy, what is his problem with me? What have I done wrong? And I used to be like, what have I done wrong? And eventually I started thinking, empathy. I'm going to be nice to this guy. There could be something going on. We don't quite know what's going on there. It could be, someone in his family could have just died and he's really struggling. I could look like someone that attacked him. Who knows? So I started every morning. Every time I went in the shop, I would say, morning, hi, thank you, good day, that kind of thing. And it wasn't long until I'm buying some plants. And they're quite expensive. Like, I don't know how expensive they were because the price tag wasn't on them, but normally probably like $12.99 maybe, because I've seen one that price. I was buying a few of them, and I get to the till and he's there. I'm like, oh, this guy. Anyway, I'm smiling, and he comes and he goes, what's the problem? And I goes, there's no price tag. He grabs a pack of chewing gum, like 50p, scans them, and then puts them through. 50p saves me a load of money, and he says something nice. Says, have a good day. And that's the first time he actually ever spoke, and I realized his English was very bad. And it made me think, this empathy led to me getting these things, which is good for me, but it led to the understanding that I realized he probably struggled because his English was bad and he couldn't talk to me. So he was intimidated. He can't make conversation with me. So of course he's just going to avoid it. And now he's a very pleasant man. So empathy can make you so calm because you're no longer at this level where you're like, there's conflict and you're like in the middle ground of the war going on. You're just at the top, looking out for people, watching people's backs, trying to help people, trying to teach people. So it sort of takes you out of the storm, puts you above it, and you can pick people out and help them. And in turn, it does it for yourself. It picks you out and it helps you. Empathy is a very powerful tool. Now, the last lesson is not really from the Stoics, but it's something I always say to myself. I've got something better to do. So when you're involved in conflict or someone's arguing with you or someone cuts you off in traffic, someone's swearing at you, and normally you'd stop the car, get out, argue for like an hour, whatever, I don't know how long. And then you sat in your car driving and you're enraged and it's ruined your day and it's all you can think about. You've got something better to do in this. Like, I don't know what it is for you that's better than this. And maybe you don't. Maybe you love just arguing with people outside McDonald's. But the point is, when you're in these situations, just kind of weigh up, what could I be doing instead? That argument we spoke about at work, where two people are arguing about you. Do you want to get involved in this, waste a load of time? Or have you got something better to do? Maybe go on a game on your phone. Maybe talk to your friend. Maybe go out and get lunch. Maybe go for a run. Maybe get on with your work. Maybe meditate. Maybe do whatever you want to do. What is better than that? Because personally for me, there's so much. That is one of the last things I'd ever want to be doing, is just arguing, some pointless argument with someone. I've got something better to do. So that is 9 lessons from the Stoics to stay calm. And an exercise for you to do, let's think about this exercise, is write down these 9 lessons. So you've got decatastrophizing, reflect on character, pause, be present, gratitude, amor fati, memento mori, empathy, I've got something better to do. Write these down on a piece of paper right now in front of you, or write them down in your phone in notes. And you can just look at these things every morning or every so often when you face a challenge, and just pick one out. Just go to the one that you think seems most attractive to you, the one that is really standing out to you. I'm not going to tell you which one's which, because everyone has their own journey through these things. And you look at it. Right now, I'm using decatastrophizing a lot. I'm thinking about it a lot. But you might pick something else and just reflect on this. Reflect on the love of fate. Reflect on your own mortality. Reflect on gratitude. Reflect on being present, or on the pause, whatever it is. Just reflect on this thing every day. And when you find it helping you, when you finally start to get that benefit from gratitude, when you finally start to feel the effects, and you're like, this is good stuff, then go, right, I'll check out another thing on that list. I'll check out empathy, or I'll check out memento mori, and I'll do that for a while. And you start to notice the benefits. Then just make your way through the list, just bounce around and get that nice feeling from them. Because this isn't supposed to be a task. This isn't supposed to be a challenge. You're supposed to get those nice rewards. And when you start to see this reward, this calmness, this character growth that you get from doing these exercises that I'm telling you to do, you'll start to get excitement to grow. You'll start to get excitement to read more from the Stoics. You'll start to get excited, hopefully, to listen to my podcast. Because these principles have been around for thousands of years. They've worked throughout history, and they always work, no matter what the situation. And right now, I think with the rise of social media, the rise of people in power that are lying, all these challenges, all this noise, I think these principles right here, the Stoic principles, they are so powerful today. So build up that excitement, and that excitement can be built up by reading my book. Self-promotion, The Everyday Stoic, Simple Rules for a Good Life, which will be soon available in 12 different languages, more to come, hopefully. But it is my guide to the good life according to the Stoics. It is the path that I followed over a decade ago when I was feeling these horrible feelings, feeling weak, feeling like a victim, feeling anxious and lost. I just followed these practices and really implemented it into my life. And I know recently there's been a real big rise in AI channels on Stoicism. I'm not sure why, but every channel is basically a faceless AI channel. And there's nothing wrong with them, but they're kind of regurgitating the same stuff over and over again with different voices. And they're not really teaching you how to do it properly. And that's the point with my channel, and the reason why I'm trying to be more and more and more personal is these things, these lessons in this book, the exact lessons in this book, journal, the growth from me being on the building sites, being a cleaner, and feeling these horrible feelings, to becoming the person I am today. And it was a long journey following these principles, but hopefully reading this book, you will get the same benefits I had over a decade, and you'll get it in a few weeks, maybe. I hope. That's my hopes. Please let me know in the comments if you read the book and you agree with that statement. Maybe it's a bit longer because it takes a while to implement these things, but straight away you should notice benefits. So, book is available in the description. So you can buy it now. Click that link in the description. Helps me, and it will definitely help you. So click the link in the description. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, then please give it a rating, whatever rating you want to give it. Hopefully 5-star, because that is a good reflection on me. But if you only believe it should deserve a 1-star, then that's up to you. Entirely up to you, but a 5-star makes me feel good. And it's just be honest, really. Today's episode was powered by Huel. Huel is a quick, affordable, nutritiously complete food with everything that your body needs. And if you have any interest in Huel products, which I do, of course, then click the link in the description. I really do recommend them. I've been having the daily greens every single day. I mean, they are called daily greens, and I love them. It's the first time I've had daily greens where I'm actually like them, and I feel healthy. I feel good. So click the link in the description if you have any interest. And remember, my book, The Everyday Stoic, Simple Rules for a Good Life, is available for order. Click the link in the description and get your hands on this book. It's a beautiful book. If not, I'm kind of bragging, but I didn't print it or anything. The team at Penguin, they did a beautiful job. So I'm congratulating them in terms of self-congratulation. Have a beautiful day and thank you for listening.